Hi class, Jolene here. Now we're going to learn how to use levels to make adjustments to an image that may not have been shot properly in the first place. So you can see I've already named it with the proper name as called for in the assignment. I've got my background layer here. I'm going to make a duplicate of it and click on OK. And this is the layer that I'm going to be working on. So your adjustment layers are right down here, and I'm going to click on brightness and contrast. That's the one that I ultimately want you to use to make adjustments to whatever image you're using, but there's a lot of different ones, and we'll use brightness and contrast and then kind of explore some of the other ones. So once we do that, it's going to bring up a properties box here, and then you can use the sliders to make this a little brighter. And sometimes you only need to do it a little tiny bit, because look what happens if a lot is not necessarily better, because now I'm blowing it out. I'm making it too bright. So you want to make it look natural. And then we can add a little bit more contrast to it. And that might be a little bit too much. So that's pretty good right there. And that's about all you need to do, but let's take a look at, let me go back and show you this. This has been added as an adjustment layer. And if I later wanted to go back and adjust it again, even if I saved it as a Photoshop file, I could go back and click right here and then make other adjustments to it. So again, that's the good thing about adjustment layers. There's other ways you can make adjustments, and I'm going to show you that right now. So I'm going back, I've turned this layer off and I'm going here. And if you go to Image and Adjustments and then click on one of these, the same things here, you will be making permanent changes to the layer that you're working on. Those are called destructive changes. In other words, you can't go back and readjust it like I just showed you. So unless it's the only thing you're doing and the only time you're going to do it and you're sure of it, don't make adjustments from this menu. Always make them here, because you're doing it in a non-destructive way. It hasn't affected the original layer below it at all. If I turn that off, there's the original. Nothing has happened to it. So turn that off again and just show you what some of the other adjustments can do. This one, levels, can be used with these sliders. This is a histogram. And so you can see I can add more light this way. Adjusting the little whoop-de-doo on this side adds more light. This adds more dark tones to it. Because there's a whole mastery of working with histograms, but that'll give you kind of an idea of what that's for. Now, if you notice, we go back to layers, you can see another adjustment level layer has been added, and that's called levels. I'll turn that one off. We'll try something else. Let's take a look at color balance. So we could add more of different colors to it to make it warmer or cooler, or since this one's someone's face, we don't want to mess with it too much, but maybe we want to add just a little bit more green to it, a little bit of blue. But the idea here, especially when you're working with someone's face, is you want to keep it natural looking. If I turn these other layers back on, now it's too bright. So I'm going to turn this one off. And let's see what happens if I turn this one off. I like that better. So I will encourage, the only one you need to do for this assignment is add brightness and contrast, unless there's some other levels that work better for the photo that you're adjusting. You only need to have one of these, but you can certainly use multiple ones if you think that works best for your image. So then you're going to want to save that. And at this point, since I've already saved it with the name I want in the folder that I want it to go into, I'm going to click on Control or Command S. Then when I go back and look at my folder, This is what your folder should look like. You should have 5 images in it, even though there's 4 different images that you're going to be working on. Because remember, the first one for the sizing and cropping, you're saving both of them as a JPEG. You're saving the original one first, and then the one you cropped as a JPEG. The other 3 are all going to be by themselves, one image. I don't need the original because I can see it when I turn off the top layer. I definitely need it to be a Photoshop image. So these are the 5 files that you'll be turning in, the ones that you've worked on, of course. So you'll be uploading all 5 images.